Good morning. Good morning. It's great to start your day with coffee with Karma today. So I'm a little under the weather this morning. Um, a little under the weather this morning. So my voice is a little off, but the show must go on, right? The show must go on. So today I thought it would be fun to answer some reader Q&A. So I've randomly picked 5 and I'll just get to it. So wait a minute. Uh Either this is a joke or my Q&A box went back in time because everyone on this card is deceased. Pushing up daisy, no longer with us. Well, hmm, the show must go on, so I will go ahead and answer their questions. Who knows if they'll get the answer because 'cause they're not around to watch this video unless they're watching it from heaven. We'll see. Okay, so the first audience question is from Charles Dickens, who was a Victorian-era novelist, and he asks, how can authors use characters and storytelling to enhance nonfiction business books? Huh. Now, this is a topic I've actually been quite interested in because there are very few fiction business books. They exist, but they are few and far between. But I think it's an interesting way to tell your story, and that is to create a fictional world that puts forth your message. Um, in fact, on April 29th, for my Author Switch podcast, I will be recording live with Corey. I don't know how to pronounce his last name quite yet. I think it's Poirier, something like that. He interviewed 7,500 thought leaders and has written a parable that tells you all about the top habits and mindsets of thought leaders, which is kind of interesting. And I'll be talking to him on the Author Switch podcast on April 29th. If you'd like to attend live, you can just put a comment below and I will send you the event link. Otherwise, you can wait another 2 weeks and it'll come out the way podcast always comes out. But that's not the only way that you can use uh, characters and storytelling in your business books. When you are illustrating a point, you can use case studies or stories from your own life and use storytelling framework to tell that real life story so that the message resonates and relates, people who listen to it can relate. It's kinda like, I mean, told this story in past episodes about the Sinbad story with the eye on her hand. That was a story. I used storytelling framework to put forth a point. So there you go, Charles. I hope that answered your question. The next question comes in from Isaac Asimov, who, by the way, is one of my favorite authors of all time. Yay, Isaac. He is an author and a professor, and he's known for his works in both science and science fiction. He's probably most well known for the 3 laws of robotics, Isaac Asimov's laws of robotics. And I don't know them off the top of my head, but if we can figure out a way to program those into AI and robots, we're golden. We're golden because then Terminator will not happen. The trick is, how do you program that? Anyway, here's his question. Considering the vast amount of information available, how can authors ensure their nonfiction books remain authoritative and trusted resources? So, how do you do that? Number one, you do research. You make sure that you know what is the current thought in your area and you understand where you're zigging where everyone else is zagging. And it's that zigging that makes you stand out. But also in my outlining method, I teach a method where you research what are potential readers looking for and going to expect to find in your book, and What are they looking for and not finding that you can put in your book because you know the answer? That's how you stay authoritative in your books, even though there's a sea of similar books out there. And honestly, if someone's really interested in your topic, they'll probably buy more than one book on the topic. I mean, I have tons of books on marketing, book marketing, mindset. I keep buying them. They often say the same things. I keep buying them anyway. So there you go. The next question comes from the novelist Jane Austen, and she asks, how can an author ensure their book resonates emotionally with readers, particularly when tackling dry and technical subjects? I did a speech on this and turned it into an ebook, which you can get. I think I called it "Making the Boring Exciting." You can get it for like 99 cents on Amazon. If you want that book, a link to that book, just let me know. Say I want that book that you talked about when you talked about Jane Austen, and I'll send it to you. But basically, the way you touch your readers emotionally is with personal stories. You wanna tell stories that have a universal and I just posted about this yesterday about how your struggles and your stories may be specific to you, but they often have a universal essence, and that's what you wanna tease out of these stories. What's the universal essence of the story you're about to tell? And that's what resonates with readers emotionally. Wow. So the next question goes way back, and we've got an ancient Greek philosopher, I think he was Greek, might have been Roman, Plato, not Play-Doh, Plato. And he asks, how can an author ensure their book reflects the true and the good rather than just commercial success? Well, I think you're very optimistic that you can ensure commercial success all the time. It's always kind of an experiment. But how do you my cat's under my feet. How do you make sure that what you're saying is true and good? You need to understand who you are and where you're coming from when it comes to your topic. And you need to stay true and good to who you are and what your core values are. So of course, core values are really important. So for example, my core values are kindness, creativity, and authenticity. So I strive to meet those ideals all the time. Do I make it every time? No, because I'm human. But that's what I'm striving for. I'm striving to always be kind, always be authentic, and always be creative. Creativity, that's the easy one, honestly. So that's what you do. Stay true to your core values, and you'll steer right. My last question comes from one of my favorite authors. I learned to read reading his books. Theodor Seuss Geisel, blah, 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 otherwise known as Dr. Seuss. I took a look. I saw a nook, and on his hat there was a hook. And on the hook, there was a book, and on the book was how to cook. But a Nook can't read, so a Nook can't cook. So what good to a Nook is a hook cookbook. That's from One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. I love him. Okay, now to his question. How important is creativity in the format and presentation of a business book? How important? I just got through saying that creativity is my core value, so I think it's highly important. And you are creative. I want to tell you this right now. Yes, you are creative, whether you think so or not. And where the creativity comes into is how are you going to talk about your idea in the framework of a book? And that may take a little like brainstorming, a little tweaking here and there. It's fine. That tapping into your innate creativity around your topic is key to making you stand out as an authority, an influencer, and a thought leader. In the format and layout, define creativity. You want the covers to be creative enough that they stand out, but you don't want them to be so crazy that no one knows what they're talking about. And they look at the cover and go, "I don't know what this is about," and they toss it. So it's a fine line between creativity and marketability. And so you want to do your research. Yeah, I know I keep falling back on research. What you do is you look at what are the book titles that caught your eye? What about them caught your eye? What did you like about them? And then you keep like a notebook so that you can talk to your designer who's going to be designing the cover for you, how you want to implement this stuff. And of course, you have to be careful with some creativity. I got really creative with Home Sweet Home page, and I wanted to have a few pages in there that were all black with white writing that increased the cost of the book so much that I would have been paying people to buy it. So I had to like scrap that idea. So you want to be creative enough that you stand out without being so creative that you cost yourself an arm and a leg or cause people to be confused. So there you go. 5 questions from readers, for my audience. I hope you enjoyed those and found some value in them. And honestly, if you have questions you would like me to read, not only read, answer in a future episode, please drop them in a comment or send me a DM audio and I'll include the audio in the podcast, whatever. Send me a video and I'll include the video. So there you go. This is the end of today's Fun Friday episode of Coffee with Karma. I will see you on Monday. This is Carma Spence, who helps entrepreneurs write a lead and client attracting book in 90 days or less, saying ciao for now.